craft of extraterrestrial origin exploded in our atmosphere, and NASA admitted it. According to claims, the theory that a space battle is taking place in the universe is getting stronger. Imagination, however, transcends hearsay by setting its own non-existent limits. And now in this context, NASA published 2 days ago, a couple of years back, under the signature of Scott Richards, the new CEO, an article explaining the explosion of an unknown object in the atmosphere of our planet. It was very loud, a very loud explosion, and at first it was assumed that it was a meteor that exploded high in the air, but something was not quite right in its attempt to explain what exactly happened. The explosion was detected by several US military and Russian satellites. If we could put a mark on the air above the atmosphere, we would say that in an imaginary straight line from the point to the center of the Earth, they would pass through the shores of the city of Istanbul, the old Constantinople of Istanbul, Turkey today. So the mysterious explosion occurred over the Black Sea, near the Black Sea, at a height of 38.3 kilometers above the land surface. Before the explosion occurred, the unidentified submarine-shaped object about the length of Corfu that's pretty big. It was suddenly spotted on radar heading from Siberia and traveling south at a speed of about 44 kilometers a second. And from the arc it left in the atmosphere, it's likely that it was already in orbit or course around our Earth. That is, it did not come from space. It was supported by many prominent NASA scientists and also by Russians who contacted the American Space Agency, NASA, that it was an alien spacecraft. Features that suggest a craft of extraterrestrial origin. Studies have indicated that the mysterious object in question could not be a meteorite for the simple reason that no one could explain how it took that particular trajectory or course, nor can they explain the reason of its crash in so remote a place above the surface of the Earth, as if it had collided with something, or as if some unseen force had struck it from afar. The first cannot have happened. That is, it is impossible that it fell on the top of a mountain, because there simply is not one that high. Nor can it have collided with an earthly plane. The bulk and size of the object in question would not allow it to be destroyed, unlike the earthly construction of the aircraft. All that remains then is the assumption that anyone, on the one hand, damaged this object in question in the air, so that on the one hand it would not crash on the ground or the sea and cause material damage and deaths, on the other hand to avoid the collection of evidence of what exploded. However, specially trained teams have arrived in Istanbul and the neighboring areas where, in consultation with the competent authorities they were investigating possible scattered debris that fell to the ground in a radius of several kilometers. Although the fact that the object in question suffered an explosion in the air does not leave scope for gathering evidence. Is a space war happening around our Earth? As mentioned earlier, the conspiracy theory that a silent war is taking place in space is widely known, although the official media denies that this is happening. The supporters of this theory, however, do not give up and update it by supporting the very high, for them, possibility that the battle is moving and is currently very close to Earth. In this case, we would be talking about existence of extraterrestrial craft approaching to our world, which would no longer be occasional. We may be facing with the possibility that these strange eruptions, which increase exponentially, this would mean that more alien craft could crash into the planet by the coming years. But in reality, there is no space war of any kind going on, neither between aliens nor between them and us. On the other hand, we should also recall, as already mentioned repeatedly, that the aerospace program known as Solar Warden is specifically specialized in the surveillance of our solar system. We close the parenthesis and continue on the subject under consideration, that it is also unlikely to concern an earthly structure, such as a space defense ship that exploded due to an error, because quite simply there are not yet on Earth, in any state of the world, technologies and companies that would build gigantic ships like this, so large that they fly and indeed run as fast as described above, 44 kilometers a second. This is how the report of Scott Richards, the CEO of NASA, ends. The story is a product of imagination and fiction, as is the name of Scott Richards of NASA and what we just read. They have nothing to do with reality. A source of inspiration was a statement concerning the creation of the sixth branch of the armed forces in space, but also the insistence of senators regarding the creation of a space force to deal with some space pirates, quote unquote, as he characteristically mentions. This I've translated from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.